Yeah. And then and then
It was a nice, warm July day. The canyon was a nice spot to be in, with its nice rolling stream and the cool breezes coming down the mountain valley, and the good camping all along the length of it. But then a storm formed in the upper reaches of the valley, and within an hour that nice rolling stream turned into a raging torrent of debris-filled water that took anything and everything with it. I'm talking about the Big Thompson Canyon and the flash flood that occurred there on July 31st, 1976. This day started out beautiful, but quickly turned ugly, producing one of the worst flash floods that Colorado has ever seen. The aftermath of this storm was devastating, but since then there have been many steps taken to keep something like this from happening again. The canyon, the Big Thompson Canyon, was named after David Thompson, a 19th century engineer and astronomer, and is a 32-mile length from Loveland, Colorado, going up into Estes Park. It winds through granite-filled walls that reach some thousands of feet into the air, with the pine and open meadows all along its length. The river, the Big Thompson River, flows from the upper reaches of the valley in and around Estes Park and into the open plains all along the Front Range of the Rockies. The weather that day was a typical late July day, with the warm summer day causing several thousand people to try to escape from the city heat and go into the canyon with its fishing, hiking, and just the relaxing cool breezes coming off the mountain. Such a beautiful day, but then the storm formed. Storm formed when moist air rose up the mountain slopes and combined with the heat from the day started forming thunderstorms. The winds were usually strong around the mountain crest, but on this day they were unusually weak and were not strong enough to push the storm away from the Big Thompson Valley. Instead, it stayed stationary for more than 3 hours, with over a foot of rain falling in the upper basin of the Big Thompson Canyon. This rain, along with the way the valley was formed, caused the normally placid 2 foot of water in the river to turn into a raging torrent that was in some areas well over 20 feet in height. In all this water was the cars, the buildings, and the boulders that were pushed along in this raging torrent. The water pipe at the opening of the canyon, which is suspended above the highway, was pushed down the river almost a quarter of a mile, with some debris washing ashore some 25 miles downstream. After an event like this comes the cleanup. There were 144 people killed on this day, with 6 bodies never being recovered. 418 homes were destroyed, with 138 damaged. 152 businesses were destroyed as well, with hundreds of cars being destroyed as well. The total damages throughout this whole flash flood were well over $40 million. Since then, numerous regulations now limit the building along the Big Thompson River, as well as other rivers similar to the Big Thompson River throughout the U.S. Radar, along with automated networks of stream and rain gauges, allow current real-time reading to now reveal what water is falling and at what rate, and how much water is throwing through these rivers in these mountain areas. An event like this teaches us what can happen, and it teaches us to be prepared. As many of you know, we have a canyon in our own backyard that has flooded in the past. These kinds of events, although tragic, help help keep us be prepared for future events that come along as well. In conclusion, the day that started out as a nice summer day, beckoning people to the cool canyons located along the Front Range of the Rockies, ended with one of the worst floods, flash floods, that Colorado has ever seen. Today, they keep an eye out for things such as the possibility of something like this happening again, and hoping that it doesn't. As a final thought, any typical day can change quickly. Just make sure you're prepared. Thank you.